You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Go for it, Jim. On the ladder, kid. Make yourself famous.
A podcast covering all things WWE.
I have now returned to save the WWE.
NXT.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
And AEW.
Holy wrestling. I couldn't be more happy.
Here are your hosts, Kyle Gagliardi and Jim Tucker.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, not Mr. OTM, but
No.
Kyle Gagliardi is currently recovering. He did get sick a few days ago and still is yet to recover. So, but here, I'm joined here by my good friend, Mr. Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
Decent. That was decent. What's going on? You can also call me Mr. AEW, AEW champion, Mr. Champion. But I'll tell you what, we got the news that Kyle Gagliardi was not going to make it. And I said, you know, could Ian and I do the podcast? Of course, we're letting you steer the ship tonight. The part-timer is the lead timer this evening. Going to be great. But I had to call in a reinforcement, and he is not unfamiliar to the OTSN Overtime Sports Network community, running his own show. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mikey Wilson. There he is.
What's up, Mikey?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, boys.
There we go.
So you boys, you guys went this weekend. You guys had yourself an eventful weekend. Run down where you went for the people that don't know how your experience was. Tell the people what you were doing this weekend.
You talking to me?
I think
Either
it's
or.
just kind of go for it.
Mikey, go.
I met Tucky in Vegas this weekend. Went to Double or Nothing. Went to a GCW show. Took it to the moon. That was crazy. Wish we'd been on some narcotics for that one, but the moon was insane. Went to a bar. Met Juventud Guerrero. That was stupid. He just walks in right behind us.
Did not hear about that. But yeah, no, I was with Gags when we were watching GCW. We were texting you guys the whole entire time, trying to get you guys to show your faces. Apparently, it was a really good show, though, from the pictures and the messages we were getting from you guys. I really couldn't tell you the marquee match of that show because, I mean, it was a really long weekend. What do you got there? You picked up some things from the show?
Matt Cardone signed figured, and then a little indie god.
We got a guest here. I don't know what just happened. I am dying here. But while we're waiting for Ian to come back, Ian wanted to steer the ship, and I said, you know what, fella? Go off, King.
See the chat?
Before we start the show, make sure you visit the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. If you look at the bottom on the ticker here, Gags gave a shit about not changing the ticker, so I had to go back in and add it. Visit onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Enter code GAGS STINKS for 0% off. So that's a 0% discount there. Just enter code GAGS STINKS and you'll get 0 discount. It'll say not valid on that code. So thank you for joining us.
Will anybody see it? Will you guys see it? Oh.
Yeah, it's coming on the bottom. Should be. Or he's sabotaging the ticker as we speak.
There it is.
But Mikey, GCW, before that, saw Juventud Guerrero. He was in charge of a video game tournament, Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yeah.
The entrants in said tournament were professional wrestlers. He put it together. He was kind of the head of it. So life is good. Had a good time there. And then
old boy kind of we asked about it, like what was going to happen, and old boy was like, "Yeah, Juventud's running. He's right there," and he like pointed right behind us, and we turned around and we were like, "Yo, he wears a mask for like 90% of his career." He said it like we were supposed to know who he was. Like, yes, I know who Juventud is. If he walks in with his big mask. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he was shorter shorter than I thought I would be, but had a great time at GCW. The tacos were on fire. Had 6 tacos under the influence of some stimulants, just having a good time, vibing with the boys. And again, Matt Cardona each got a signed fig. You got the foam finger. I would have bought the Indie God shirt if he would have had it, but didn't
Not
expect
true. You also bought a sticker.
I did buy a sticker, but didn't take it. So Matt Cardona does owe me a sticker if he wants to put that in the mail. Paid for a sticker, didn't grab it because I'm awesome. So. Friday, enjoyed ourselves. Saturday, woke up a little under the weather.
We're moving slow, bud. We were moving slow.
So, thankfully bought breakfast stuff the Saturday before, or the Friday before. So we had breakfast stuff ready. Had a brunch for the boys as we enjoyed Night of Champions. Ate like kings.
Yes,
we had some eggs, hash browns, sausage, biscuits, like all the
nice little spread.
It was a decent spread, bacon and sausage, because we're not punks. Okay, put some respect on it.
Give us all the meat.
We want all the meat, both meats. So it was a great time. We're going to get into WWE Night of Champions. Ian in the private chat said, I have to go. So not sure if he's going to be coming back. Thank God you joined us. No kidding. So talking WWE Night of Champions. Great show. Saudi crowds don't miss. Yeah. Saudi crowds don't miss.
There
He's back.
Hey, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, we had a false emergency. Apparently, Life 360 went off saying my sister was in a car crash, but didn't happen to be the case. She was actually on a boat, and apparently Life 360 sent cops her way because it detected
Oh my
a crash.
gosh.
So
what in the world?
So that was something, but we're back. We're fine.
Wow.
You guys keep on rolling, and I'll just kind of join in because I don't know where we're at.
We just started and introed WWE Night of Champions. We got the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast plug out of the way. The ticker has been resolved. Life is good. LWG is doing okay. Life without Gags is doing okay, but it's not entirely life without Gags. He definitely had a presence here, definitely helped out. And as I mentioned, as a teacher, when I have to miss a day of school, i.e. last Friday, when I have to miss, I have to leave subplants, and with Gags kind of being the guy, I think we both expected him to do all of the work and we could just, coast. Not
he
the
does.
case.
He does claim to be Mr. OTM, so you'd expect a lot from him. But if you know him as a person, you can't really do that because it would usually come up short. But thanks for having us, Gags.
Gags stinks.
Comes up short and bald now. Love it.
It's a good life to live, man. Don't hate.
That is true.
Yeah.
But
I have to get a haircut on Saturday.
There's a number on the headphones though. They're ripped up in here.
Yawn. No, great. Grady boy, right?
Say again.
It's a Grady boy.
Oh yeah,
you let it grow out.
It's like sandpaper, Bob.
The wild women, the ripping and the tearing, the ripping and the tearing. YouTube it.
Okay. All right, boys. Let's get into Night of Champions though. Started off with one heck of a match, in my opinion. One of the best matches, which usually it's a good sign for a good show. Which again, really great show. In my opinion, I think WWE won it, but won the weekend. But we started off with the World Heavyweight Championship finals in the tournament. We had AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. But here's my question to you guys. We all know it was a really great match. We all kind of expected it to be a really good match, and which they did deliver. Do you agree with putting that match first? Yep. I want to get your guys' opinions on that. Okay, please explain.
Yeah, I say 100%. I didn't expect it to go on first, but I'm glad that it did because you get to show off to a hot start. AJ Styles comes out. Okay, it's on. Moment of panic for me because Mikey had not arrived yet. They were doing entrances. So we had the couple minutes, the big promo package at the beginning, obviously. But I thought it was a great decision because they marketed it as a triple main event, which is kind of hot-ish in my opinion. Like, okay, you got 3. But those were 3 meaningful, high-impact matches. If you run those 3 back to back, the last match doesn't have the gravitas that it does, in my opinion. So I think the match layout was actually pretty smart and like intentional, and I appreciated that.
I agree. I didn't expect it to go on first. Happy that it did set the pace, and really it set the crowd, right? You have Seth Rollins come out, stand in the ring for 5 minutes, and you say, whoa, whoa. Like, it set the crowd, set the pace, and it set the tone for the night. It was great.
Yeah, but here's another thing I wanted to point out too and get your guys' opinions on it. So we saw the match. We saw Seth Rollins winning, which was pretty much the favorite. I think that was a favorite for everybody.
Nobody
winning that
picked
title.
AJ in the picks.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So
Okay,
definitely the fan favorite, whether that's knowing that he's going to win or genuinely wanting him to win over. But here's my question: is not the next night, but Monday after on Raw, we see AJ Styles show up with Seth Rollins and tag teams with him. I'm confused by this because there's still, you have that title there, which is supposed to be a Raw only title, but again, we have the SmackDown wrestler and AJ Styles coming and tag teaming and picking up a victory. So I'm really questioning what the directive is, and I just would like to get your guys' thoughts and if you guys think this is something to move on from. Tuck.
I don't think I think of the brand split anymore. Like, it's not a thing. It was something to pique our interest for a couple weeks. Again, it just kind of boggles my mind that they haven't flipped the women's titles.
Mm. Yeah, because I mean, it could be that trade. I believe, actually, yeah, the Raw Championship is on SmackDown right now, and the SmackDown Championship is on Raw. So maybe that's something we see. But Mikey, what are your thoughts so far after the trade? I'm not sure how much you've been keeping up with on a weekly basis, but it's kind of like.
First, let's give a shout out to Dirk, please.
Hey, thanks for coming, Dirk. Always love to see you.
Couple comments rolling in. Too Sweet Kyle, that promo code worked. Gas State for 0% off. You're welcome. And Tino Simon is agreeing it makes no sense. So if things don't make sense, don't acknowledge them. That's the way.
Yeah, I talked to Tucky a little bit this weekend about it. He mentioned the titles, the women's titles. Said to solve that problem, you just go women's WWE title and women's Universal title. And you never have that problem again. I don't know which one comes which, but the brand split. I like the brand split because now you have a reason to watch each show. Like I like it and I hate it because I only watch Raw. I don't really watch SmackDown that much, and now I have to watch SmackDown to see what Roman's doing. It's pretty much all I care about.
I was going to say that's kind of the thing that they've really stuck to and kind of made sure that it is the case is Roman Reigns. Maybe the bloodline scoots over to Raw, but since he holds those titles, is that he's staying on SmackDown, which honestly, it's forcing me to watch SmackDown because I obviously love everything that's going on with the bloodline, which we will get into. But
speaking of acknowledging Roman Reigns and the bloodline, we need to acknowledge Tino, the MVM. True. The current MVM
People's
is
Champ.
in the building. And
the People's Champ.
Is Too Sweet Kyle eligible to be an MVM? I think that's an interesting question for the people in the comments for Gags to duke it out with. Have at it, boys.
You know what would be? Go ahead.
I think Erica's been MVM. Has any of the other guests been, or not guests, hosts? So it's just Tucky and Gags?
No, that was me. I was also one, but that was before I was actually a host. I was just kind of a guest.
Yeah, that's ass. No, I've never won it. Gags has never won it. Maybe it should stay that way.
Well, here's the thing, though. Tino, we're going to give it up to Tino. Tino, your next message on a yes or no, allowing Gags to go for your title. I mean, this could really show who the babyface is. And Tino, if you're a man of your word, you're wanting to defend, I would say yes.
Not for nothing, but if you say no, that's one less person you got to compete against.
That's also true.
He's only competing against himself right now. Here we go.
But yeah, we'll move on. I just kind of brought down some main points of the show and what I thought were interesting talking points. I thought one of those was from a match that not a lot of people expected anything great from. We saw Mustafa Ali go for Gunther's Intercontinental title, in which I thought was a pretty decent match. It was that giant versus cruiser kind of match in the underdog, but it's that underdog that everybody could cheer for, and that's kind of what we saw with Ali. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on how you felt about Ali, because there's a few moments where I thought maybe he had a chance, but then I realized it's Ali.
Yeah, they booked Ali strong, and I think this was kind of a good matchup for the card that they had with the Bloodline and Roman and Solo, Cody Brock, Seth Rollins and AJ. And then you had the 2 women's titles that were on the line as well, Becky, Trish. Like, there was a lot going on, and I felt like we were going to get a good match because of Mustafa Ali. And we did, and they made him look strong. He had spots I never fully believed. Like, I always thought, like, it's too early or this happened, but it was a great match. The interesting thing is, I believe Mustafa Ali went down to NXT on Tuesday. Is that true?
That is true. I am not familiar with NXT, the NXT product. I don't watch it on a weekly basis. If one of you guys did see that, but I do know that Baron Corbin also went down with him. Which I thought that was interesting because he had a great match against Gunther, which I thought rose his stock. And maybe he's trying to take a high profile down to NXT and get it in down there. Sounds like he's starting to feud with Wes Lee. So could be something
that I agree.
I'm over the WWE pandering to its audience like that. I mean, they did it with Selena Vega last month. They're doing it with Ali this month. The dude's from Chicago. Selena's not even from the Dominican Republic. Like, just
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Just stop. Just stop.
She's Puerto Rican.
I don't know. You got to understand, though, it's something for the wrestlers, because I'm sure, obviously for Zelina, it was a huge moment. That was a WrestleMania moment in a Backlash pay-per-view. That's utilizing your wrestlers well and your talent well and knowing what will get them over.
They used her to sell tickets, man. That's all they did.
Yeah, I would agree.
It worked.
It works. It works.
People, like, we're still talking about it. So that means they did something right. Even if she didn't win, my issue with it is they didn't really do anything with her afterwards. But obviously we still have some time. We're not that far out from that match. Ryan Lotus.
It's not what I said. It's not what I said.
I mean, you said they need to stop pandering to their audience.
They're pandering.
If the audience is happy, they're in joy. He said, stop giving the crowd something they'd enjoy. That's the same thing.
That's pretty much the same.
Tighter. That's it.
All right, and then where's
Mikey
Selena
Heelson.
And then what they do with Ali since? Like,
it's been a half a week.
They sent him to NXT.
1 week. You looked at me.
And they literally sent him to the minor leagues after that.
Mustafa Ali in NXT with a title, higher stock than Mustafa Ali.
Doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, correct. It's better. He's a workhorse, and that's all he's been used for. We'll move on, though. We have a lot to get to. I feel like we could talk about this for a while.
Many minutes to Mustafa Ali right there.
Good.
Congrats, guy.
Asuka finally takes the title off Bianca Belair, or Bianca's historic reign finally ends, we should say, for the Raw Women's Championship. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but kind of called this at WrestleMania. I'm just saying after the show, it seemed like no one in the crowd was behind Bianca since then, and it seemed like her time was running up. I'm surprised they didn't make a heel turn while she had the title. I thought that would have meant a little bit more, but now it's kind of Bianca's going through her run, and
there's many accomplishments that she's had. She's had the longest reign ever, and now the crowd's into Asuka. Let her run with it. Try to develop this heel character as she did further against Bianca by using it with the hands to the eyes. Okay, let Asuka be big bad heel, and then Bianca can hit the refresh button, potentially turn or get nasty in some way. But it was getting stale. It was the same thing. I'm the best, the fastest, the greatest, and okay. We didn't really have a lot of whys, it was just she's strong and impressive, and in that kind of ran its course. Still Bianca fan. I have 2 signed figures because that's what people do. Love her that much, I guess. I have a type, so
I do find it interesting though with Asuka, with the finish to that match. Asuka, instead of just spraying, I mean, we saw earlier. I think it was on that Raw that Asuka missed the spray, and now she sprays it in her hand and says, "Okay, I'll be smarter than you. I'm just going to put it in my hand and put it over your eyes." I think that just kind of like shows a little bit of more depth into her character, saying, "I'm not just dumb and just going to spray you in the face and win a title."
Well, and deliberate about it too. She had her hand taped up.
Right, exactly.
To make it
so
a thing.
it's the small things in wrestling that kind of make it could add some depth to a character, which we don't see in AEW, by the way. But we'll get to it.
No, I really told a great story there, Ian. That's a good point.
But yeah, Mikey, did you have anything to add to this title match?
No, sir.
But overall, thought it was a really great match, really creative finish. I can't recall a time when we've seen that, but it was really innovative. I'm excited to see what happens with both wrestlers, especially with Asuka's title reign. But another big key point was Cody Rhodes couldn't beat Brock Lesnar. Go ahead, Mikey.
He spent like a half hour in the Kimura. That was fucking insane.
So this is actually at this point of the night, I wasn't able to actually like tune in all the way. I was kind of running some errands, so I couldn't watch this match. As we know, it was a midday match card, an event.
Oh, yeah.
So
a morning match card for the West Coast boys.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. breakfast. Loved it.
It's great. I'm not a huge fan of the mornings and the day pay-per-views.
Mikey went to the PGA store before. I got a 6 mile run in. It was outstanding.
That was awesome, man.
Continue.
Great morning.
But yeah, it was just one thing I wanted to point out with Cody Rhodes. It's a good development to his story. It's still through those hard times that he's going through, that his father had to go through. And I don't see this loss hurting Cody Rhodes. This is we could come back to this feud. There's still stuff to build from it because he came in with that injured arm and broken arm already. So I don't see it really hurting him. Do you, Tuck?
Builds his stock. It's a different way to build his stock. You get another match out of him and Brock that he could take 2 out of 3. He didn't tap, right? So there's a lot of feathers in his cap here still. I picked Cody, so I'm pissed.
It cost you the title.
Some would say.
Oh gosh,
I really lost because I picked Natalya. So
no, you did not.
No, you didn't.
Nobody did. I'm just joking.
Okay. I would have believed it, honestly.
Bianca cost me the title.
Yeah, Asuka was the favorite in those picks. 60% of the votes.
The people were tired of Bianca as the face champion, which is
heard
awesome
that.
to see.
I lied. One person picked Mustafa Ali. That is former MVM Ryan Gagliardi. Put respect on his name. He also went with AJ Styles. I lied, as did one Ryan Bogus. So AJ Styles did have some action. Yeah.
Did not hate that pick.
So I'll talk more about the other picks in later matches.
Good. But this was
go ahead, Ian. Sorry.
Well, we get to the comments. Tuck.
Yeah, I was going to say Gags is right. That's what that was going to be my comment, is that I've never been in so much pain. Like my arm hurts so much that I just kind of passed out. It's a weird one.
Have you ever been in a Kimura from Brock Lesnar?
No, Brock Lesnar and me never been in the same room.
You might pass out if your arm was dislocated, though.
You might have the opportunity, like immediately. Like if he went like this, I'm done. Like wouldn't even get a chance to touch me.
I might pass out if I'm in the same room with Brock Lesnar in general. Like I don't even need to be touched. What did Gag say? I went undefeated. No big deal. Acknowledge me. We'll move on. But obviously the biggest moment of the night was the main event of the 3 main events. It was the Usos finally turning against Roman Reigns. Well,
what you meant to say was it was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa.
I said that on purpose. I don't think the match was a placeholder for the real story that made the match the main event, and that was the Bloodline. The match was okay. The match was okay. That's all I have to say. Sammy in KO, they're still really not delivering it to me. It's just because Sammy's in that tag team that beat. I mean, we do have to acknowledge the fact that Roman Reigns was pinned. That's huge. But the real pointer and the reason people are talking about it, not because they retained the titles, is because Roman was turned against by his cousins, the Usos. Or his brothers, sorry. I believe Roman did, didn't he?
I think
What?
Solo took it. Solo took the pin?
No, Roman did.
Roman took it.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Roman did. Because that's what I was really flabbergasted by. But yeah, we could just break down that moment. What was your guys' reactions? I mean, I was baffled. I was almost in tears how awesome that moment was. Oh, Gag said Roman did not take the pin.
I didn't think he did.
Huh. But Mikey, what was your reaction to the moment? How did you feel about it? Do you think this was the right time? Do you think they could have kept it going for a little while longer?
I think they're right on track, man. With the bloodline telling, this is one of the best stories WWE's done in a long time. And the storytelling has been fantastic. With Sammy in, Sammy out, the bloodline or the Usos in, the Usos starting to come out. Jay has already gotten his ass whooped by Roman. So like there's that hesitancy there. Jimmy just kind of came in and got part of it, just was accepted in. And now he's like, oh, you're not going to treat me like that. You're not going to muff me and all this bullshit. But Jay knows what it feels like to get his ass beat by Roman on a main stage. And Jimmy hasn't felt that yet. So like that whole story all the way back to day one when Jay got his ass whooped is coming full circle now. And it's beautiful. I love the story.
Tucky, do you have any thoughts on it? Anything to add?
I think Night of Champions is a good way, kind of the way they did with Backlash, right? Using B-level pay-per-views to at least drive home big story moments too. So you're getting something, even if it's not a big title change or a title match, even you're getting some juice out of it. And I'm interested to see how it goes. SmackDown is tomorrow or today if you're listening on a podcast.
That's true. I just find it really awesome. Like, I mean, it was kind of that brother side of I'm just going to quote Jimmy when he yelled to Jay. He said, "I'm doing what you should have done a long time ago. I got you." And that's when he delivered that last super kick. I thought it was a beautiful moment. That was that moment. I was like, that's brothers right there. And everybody, they were shoving each other the whole time. No one was pissed at each other when they were shoving each other. They play their role so well as brothers. Cause I mean, they are brothers and they play that role of Roman's he's the bully right now. And they're standing up for themselves, but it's just that role reversal of Jay used to do that. Jay used to be like, Jimmy, dude, he's treating us wrong. Can't you see this? And Jimmy kind of played that peacemaker. But now the roles have flipped, and Jimmy just finally had enough, stuck up for his brother. I thought it was a beautiful moment. Like I said, I think it completely overshadows the title match. Nothing was really gained for Sammy and KO besides pinning him. But other than that, I can't wait for SmackDown tomorrow. It's going to be something to go ahead, Mikey.
How about Sammy coming out? I don't know what to call their native language, the terminology, but how about Sammy coming out and just crushing? I had no idea he was bilingual like that.
Yeah, I agree. That was impressive. I need to find a transcript of what he said. Gag says, so many huge moments involving the bloodline to NPLEs this year. We're witnessing the greatest story in wrestling history. I said it. Take or not take?
I'm taking it. And I think the fact we're in the media age just amplifies it. Everybody knows what's going on. I'm sure there are fans out there that aren't even wrestling fans that are probably engaged with the story. They see it on their feed. It's I don't even need to watch, and I know what's going on with the bloodline. I think it's up for contention. It depends on how they finish it, though.
Mikey?
Yeah, take it 100%. I mean, next week, why don't you guys name a better story?
Well, I'm gonna take it as well. The greatest story in wrestling history is a strong statement, so I take light on it. I don't know right now if I can find a more compelling story. You know, like the DX and NWO stuff, Stone Cold, like were they greater story? They were white hot feuds, but from like long-term stories, I'm not sure, and I frankly don't remember that much. In the modern era, I don't think it's anywhere close.
I mean, take away Hogan and San Martino, and I think there's one more person above Roman. He might be
Bob
number
Backlund.
3. Bob Backlund. Okay, so take those 3 out of it and take Roman and the next 4, and pick out of those 5 the greatest, like their runs. Which one was the greatest story? It's Roman. I can't even tell you the other 4. It's probably
Roman's the
Punk's
most
probably in there.
entertaining. Yeah, CM Punk's up there as well. I think he might be 5th or 6th or something like that. It's somewhere around there. But
Yeah, you're talking 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Like,
right.
pick those 5 and pick a better story. It's not going to happen.
I do have
Like
a translation of what Sami Zayn said if you'd like to hear it.
Go for it. Yeah.
Calm down, calm down, calm down. Pray to the prophet. We're in an Arab country. We have an Arab champion. We're going to do this in Arabic. Introducing the prize fighter, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Love it.
And not a little more charged in Montreal based on what he said there. In
Yeah,
French.
he. I mean,
Laid
he
a few
does.
cuss words. Did he not?
Yeah.
He does have a. I mean, on his shorts, when on his typical ring gear, I think there is Arabic text.
Yeah.
That might have been true. Yes.
I think that's Arabic.
Okay.
Arabic. Not,
We'll
not
move
Arabic.
on though.
White
You guys
guy from Gary, Indiana.
but hey,
When he was on SmackDown, he yelled to the crowd, Roman Reigns, listen to me carefully tomorrow night. You're my fucking house. So,
Whoa!
that was dope. Yeah.
but boys, we'll move on. But before we move on to our next pay-per-view to talk about, we won't be talking about Battlegrounds. We will be talking about Double or Nothing next. But boys, we got to hear what the people think about the podcast. Do we not?
We
That's
did.
it.
What's everybody saying about the On the Mark podcast?
It's just insane, and I love it.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
Unlike any other.
It's a great show.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
Yep.
I'll do it. No, that's fine. I'll do it.
You're the lead. Take the lead.
Yep. Okay. But we'll move on to the next pay-per-view in what I thought was the second best pay-per-view. But to be fair, I didn't watch Battlegrounds. You could boo me if you want to. But it was AEW's Double or Nothing. And all together, it was a decent show. It was good wrestling. We had some really impressive moments, which we'll get to at some point here. But the first one I want to talk about is Orange Cassidy retaining in the Blackjack Battle Royale.
Can Mikey and I talk about the day?
Yes,
Would love to do
absolutely.
that. Kind of
Yes.
maybe go through our evening as we stroll in. So Sunday started at Top Golf. Couple hours. We played 2 hours at Top Golf. Bucket of brews.
Got to
And
swing my
after
new
that-
3-wood I got from the PGA store.
There we go. After that, we drove to Top Golf and drove back, which is like 25 minutes. We didn't want to take double Ubers or whatever. I don't know why. We wanted to try your clubs. Top
Yeah, I
Golf.
wanted to take my clubs back home. Yeah.
So went back to the shack, Ubered back to the strip, went to Shake Shack for lunch.
Solid.
Give it a grade, Mikey.
6 out of 10.
Ooh,
I was
that's
gonna be
low.
like, I was
That was
gonna say-
good.
He said solid. I thought I was gonna go like 7.5, 8. Mine was good. We got the slap shot burger.
It's a specialty burger. I mean,
Yeah, fried pickles, double patty, provolone cheese, and an aioli of sorts. It was
What?
great.
it was good.
It was
It's hard giving
outstanding.
specialty burgers because it's like steroids. They're on PEDs.
That's true.
What was
go
the venue that Double or Nothing was at?
T-Mobile Arena, where the Golden Knights play,
Okay,
same
that is
place
right.
as last year. Yeah, so around 2:00, 2:10, went and stood in line. Doors open at 3. We had all-you-can-drink passes for the first hour. So doors didn't open till 3:12. Kind of pissed.
Yeah.
But we wanted to go get merch first because last year we did the same thing, and we missed out on some good merch. So they didn't have our size. So we went to merch first, got to the all you can drink with like 40 minutes left, 20, 35 minutes, and asked old buddy if he was going to extend it for 12 minutes. He chose not to. So
Wasn't having it. Didn't even let me
not
finish
have it. We did get 3 drinks and the ticket was already paid for, so that was fine. Mosey our way up to the seats, section 12, row S. We were active up and down a little bit all night because that's how we be. But got a thing of popcorn and a couple beers. Life was good. Started with the Blackjack Battle Royale.
Yeah, that is true. And but hey, guys, before we get into the Blackjack Battle Royale, sorry, my apologies. We have another guest coming in here. And it's the guy that everybody knows. It is Mr. OTM. He's back. Kyle Gagliardi.
Back and looking good.
I wouldn't say looking good, fellas. I felt, plenty better than I am right now.
You might not be
I appreciate
good,
that. Yeah, no, I don't feel great. I was spending a lot of the time watching you guys on the toilet this evening, but I figured I'd stop by and talk a little bit of wrestling with you. So I probably won't be here for long, but I'm going to make an appearance. I have
until nature calls.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about Orange Cassidy. I think this is something that I don't think it kind of got under the radar. Orange Cassidy retains again, and it's against I don't even know how many people there were in this match. It was 21.
Blackjack, 21.
What's next for Orange Cassidy? Because, I mean, not many feuds were started during this match. We had Swerve. He was really contending. That's about it.
Let me run down. This was a wild card for the Double or Nothing show because it was a short response answer field. So you had to type in your answer. I'd like to run down some of the picks. Orange Cassidy got 3 votes. Orange Juice got 1 vote. So I was confused about that one. Orange Cassidy or Juice Robinson. I gave it a green. They still didn't win. But we had 4 oranges. And then in second place, we had Ricky Starks. He got 2 votes. So he had some.
One of my new favorites.
Yeah. And then somebody said, whoever the winner is, I picked that guy, which is kind of punting a vote. Somebody just said, I'll take the surprise entrant.
There was none.
And then one of the TBD participants, if that's not a good enough answer, I'll stick with Orange Cassidy. Okay. That's not a thing.
You didn't get really any legit responses there from the Double or Nothing predictions.
Ricky and Strickland, those were some other,
I had Ricky Starks, and did you? I missed a couple minutes of the show. Mikey, did you get to tell the story about your encounter with Ricky Starks this past weekend?
I was waiting for this match.
Yeah, let's hear it. Tell the listeners. I got to see the picture. You said he was a nice guy, right?
Let me start. Let me start because I got a text from Mike saying I might see some wrestlers at the airport. Maybe I'll see some. I was
pretty excited. I mean, Mikey was
tossed it out there
like a zombie.
He just floated that out there, significant like hours before, like on the way, like not a minute before he saw Ricky Starks. It was maybe I'll see some wrestlers here, and I said, okay, well, fuck ever, all right, whatever, buddy. Continue.
I'm a zombie. Like we were up late. We were gone. We were to the moon. We were drinking, and I'm walking to the airport. Just fucking, hey man, I need some coffee. Looking around, fucking Ricky Starks is just posted up against the wall with his bag, texting on his phone, and I kind of go, "Hey, Mr. Starks, would you mind taking a picture of me? I know you're on like your personal time. It's cool if you don't want to. Like I get it." He's like, "No, man, come on. I'm just waiting on this plane." And we happen to be on the same plane. So I'm just sitting there bullshit. I took a picture and he goes, "Did you enjoy the show?" I was like, "Yeah, me and my buddy got ripped. We fucking loved it. You guys tore the house down." And we were talking about the 21 man, and he goes, what'd you think? And I said, well, I had Swerve. I picked Swerve. And he goes, really? Well, my buddy picked you. And he goes, your buddy sounds a lot cooler than you do. I was like, oh.
That was me, for the record. I'm the Ricky Starks guy.
And by buddy, he meant the Killer. The Killer also picked Ricky Starks.
Oh, when are we ever going to reveal the Killer? Or when are they going to reveal themselves, I guess we should say.
It's been Vince McMahon this whole time.
Reveal themselves appropriately, please. This is a
not in Killer format. Yeah.
But I mean, he's on his own time. He's at the airport. It's fucking 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever time it was. He didn't need to bullshit with me, and he could have just go fuck off. But no, he was cool. We bullshitted for a while.
That's a good dude.
That's cool. I know Tuck got the chance to meet him last year at the SummerSlam fan fest. And there's the picture right there on the screen if you're watching live or watch later on YouTube, Mikey with Ricky Starks. So this is a legit story. But Ian, going back to your question, what's next for Orange Cassidy? I think the answer is Swerve. Orange Cassidy is basically taking care of everybody in AEW. I believe he's got the most title defenses in AEW right now, obviously, since Jade just lost her title, which I'm sure you guys are going to talk about here in a little bit. But yeah, Battle Royals don't really do much for me, at least AEW ones. The finish was cool, but Orange Cassidy, just retaining that way, I thought it was a lazy way to go about it, but it was fine. Tuck, what do you think?
Yeah, and Swerve and Orange Cassidy have a title match on Dynamite, so that is it more right? Is that the start of something? Does Swerve win? I don't know.
Tino said, "Oh damn, I look away for 1 minute," and Kyle's here. Yeah, don't get used to it. I'm probably going to be leaving here very shortly. Not great.
Duty calls. But yeah, no. Back to your point with the battle royales in AEW. That was one thing I did notice while I was watching, just from a wrestling standpoint and just kind of production standpoint. I think this was one of their best battle royales. It was kind of that. It showed off what they wanted to show in the time. It was the spots. There were people like if there were 21 guys in there. Whoever was fighting in the middle, that was the center point, and the camera showed it. The production team showed it. The commentator showed it. It wasn't the usual like early AEW where everything is madness, and that's been kind of at least from my standpoint, what's wrong with battle royales in AEW is just too much going on. I don't know if you guys had noticed that, Mikey or Tuck.
Well, it was hard to see the production value live, but
yeah.
Well, how was the energy as a whole for that show? Because it really didn't come off as a great crowd.
I have a moment that woke the crowd up from that moment. Mikey, do you know what I'm talking about? You have my guess?
No clue, Kyle.
The crowd really woke up when Karen Jarrett struck Aubrey with the guitar.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
Awake. Yeah, it was. I agree. Very tame. Very tame up to that point. Mikey was trying. We had a guy behind us.
Mikey's always trying.
There was definitely a guy about 6 rows up that was 100% trying, but every chant was just ass. So, like,
I had to shut the guy up next to you.
Timing was weird. Dude next to me went to WrestleMania, went to Puerto Rico, and then was here at Double or Nothing, and is going to SummerSlam, and will be traveling to All In as well. And he did not know wrestling.
Wait, what?
Did not know.
How is that even possible?
Did not know wrestling. Didn't know the words to the theme songs, but sang them. Got Statlander's last name wrong.
He did.
Just miserable. The guy was intolerable, and he's flying the globe to go to these shows, and his girlfriend or side piece was just laughing obnoxiously, probably because she knew he was wrong. That's it.
Good for him, I guess. I mean, it's a weird guy right
he's
there.
He's living, but he's not learning. He's living.
Right.
He's making the money.
Is he making over 100K though, Ian? That's the question.
All right.
That's an inside joke. Let's move on to the next match, though.
Yeah, another match I wanted to point out. There were a lot of matches that were just they were okay. Nothing really came.
The first half of the show was bad. Let's just be transparent. It wasn't good.
No,
it might have been enjoyable for the people in the audience because it's different when you're sitting there watching it in person. But as it came across on pay-per-view, I was watching it with Ryan Vogus. We did not enjoy the first. I shouldn't even say the first half. Up until the last 3 matches, everything felt like Dynamite to me. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, if I didn't have Strickland, I wouldn't have even been involved in the
invested.
Yeah, but the match that did, I think, kind of kicked it off. Tucky, you alluded to it, was FTR versus Jarrett and Lethal. I thought it was one of the more underrated matches on the card, but that's kind of what happens when you stick these 4 men into the ring. Jeff Jarrett. If Jeff Jarrett is your weakest link in this match, that's saying something, because I think Jeff Jarrett's an underrated wrestler. He's been around for a long time, and I think it really showed during this match. It was a little spotty at times. We had the guitar shots, but it all meant something. We had Mark Briscoe as the ref, and he played his part really well. The story revolved around him, and they maintained that. And I thought it really came and culminated really well in the end. Tucky, you already alluded to it with how it kind of uplifted the crowd. But were there any other moments, or was the crowd livid when FTR actually won? Because I think that was kind of where everyone was heading.
It didn't feel like the crowd was mad that FTR won in the building. I watched the match and enjoyed it. I don't know that Mikey could take his eyes off of Mark Briscoe's referee top. Mikey
loved it. I told Tuck, I said, if we were sitting front row, I would fucking offer him $100 for that shirt right off his back. Loved the referee shirt. The best spot of the match was Aubrey coming down and taking a fucking guitar right to the face, pal.
It popped. I popped.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a criticism I had for the show as a whole. I just feel like there was a lot of shenanigans, lack of a better term there, in every single match that was happening. Outside interference, just managers ringside. It's like, man, I felt like I was watching old WWE from 5 years ago, because that's all WWE really relied on, was just wonky finishes and interferences, and that's what we got here. But at least, Ian, like you said, it kind of made sense from the story standpoint. Hopefully FTR is going to move on from Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, which I believe they are. Not sure who's next in line from them, but it was just an okay match for me.
I can't wait till the next feud. I'm excited for the next feud. Go on.
Yeah, I'd agree. FTR, they put on bangers all the time. But another thing I want to say is, I hope this isn't the last of Jay Lethal. Jeff Jarrett, he could kind of go away, but Jay Lethal's good. He's so good at what he does. He's a good mixture
Underrated.
of modern wrestling and old-fashioned wrestling storytelling. I hope that's not the last we see of him.
It won't be.
Shout out to the Broadcast Podcast, all the way from
What's
Australia.
up, bros?
What's happening? Tito's time. Giving this up. We're here.
The MVM's acknowledging the chat too. We got to respect it.
He's a
True
man
face.
of the people. Tino is a face. Tino is a face.
You know what shirt he needs? He needs the people's champ, the fans champ. That's what he needs.
There is an MVM shirt out there on the MarkWrestlingPodcast.com. Just saying.
That is
and
true.
if you use promo code GAGSTINKS, you will save $0 on it.
That's a steal.
That's a deal. That is a deal right there. The next match, though, you have here, Ian, is got a lot of people talking. Not really the first match, because there was two for the TBS title, but you got Jade Cargill, who had a very unique entrance with her sorority, I believe. I think it was the longest tenured African-American sorority. They were talking about it on commentary that came out. So that was a cool little moment for Jade. She defeats Taya Valkyrie. And then afterwards, she's 60-0, and she wants more. And Chris Statlander finally returns to AEW. Ian, I believe this is a name that you have brought up on the podcast in the past of potential people to dethrone Jade. Well, that's exactly what happened here. Chris comes back, picks up the win. Jade Cargill finally loses her title. Ian, I'll go to you first on this one. This is probably the last match that I'm going to talk about. I want to hear your thoughts on this, because I thought this was a very cool moment.
First I want to point out Taya Valkyrie and Jade Cargill, they put on a good match. I do want to acknowledge that. It was a pretty good match. It was a good showing for the women's division, but obviously that wasn't the story to tell from this match. It was Statlander coming out, and I've said it before. We've all said it, is Statlander is the person to take that title off. She's not a main event title picture, but
Not
yet. It's still scary with the injuries. We don't know yet. But I think if she's winning the title, that must mean something. That must mean she is back 100%. Great moment for Chris Statlander. She deserved it. Tucky. What was the moment like? What was the crowd like?
Did you almost call me Baki?
I had a lot of Baki this past few weeks, but
which is never good.
No. What was the moment like in the arena?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Personally, or like for like the whole venue?
Whatever you feel.
Venue loved it. Tucky hated it.
Really?
Okay.
You wanted Jade to keep winning?
I have a type.
Here's the thing. That's a good point. I don't agree with your point on her not winning. I don't think the match should even happen. The match should not even have happened. I think she could have got some more heat by saying, wait, not you. I don't want to fight you. You're not next.
Build it to another night.
You build more heat for Jade.
So, okay. Jade Cargill was set for some time off. Statlander came back, flipped the title, whatever. But if you would have said, Jade, hang in there for another month, make it something, get the pop for Statlander debuting, come down to the ring and like have her like punch, like, and make Jade Cargill flinch, right? Like a chink in the armor, like, okay, but not make a match out of it and get some legs out of it. Give Jade Cargill a compelling story. I just thought they like pulled the plug too early on the same night about a Jade Cargill signed figure.
I disagree with you guys. I think that this is a good story because Jade was overconfident after retaining her title. She hasn't lost in AEW, 60-0, and she was so confident that she was willing to take on somebody else in that same night. She's not going to, run away from Chris Statlander. That's not her character. Jade's going to step up to anybody that steps up to her. So she accepted that challenge. She loses, and now you have something for Jade to dive into once she eventually comes back, if she does take some time away.
Yeah, that's a good point. Ryan Bogus, he says, Becky, Ronda, Jade, why does every women's champion reign lose on surprise entrant 10-second matches? Great question. I mean, women don't get a lot of time during pay-per-views anyway, so probably has to do with something with that. But it's a great question. Very great question. But yeah, go ahead, Mikey.
I'll tell you what, little commentary in the arena wouldn't have hurt for me and Tucky. Statlander comes down, they're face to face, and then all of a sudden the fucking bell rings, and me and Tucky are like, "What?
Yeah,
what the fuck just happened, pal?"
Yep. Okay.
Little commentary probably wouldn't have hurt for the people that have paid the most.
They didn't even have Justin Roberts announce that there was a match happening.
Oh wow!
No, Statlander literally walked out of the ring. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Mark Sterling announced that she would take on anyone at any place, and then Statlander comes down and like ding, ding, ding. We're like, wait, what's that? It was kind of like, it was interesting. And the thing that makes me mad about AEW shows is like we bought a ticket to be in the venue, and now we can't go back and watch it, like unless we.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Stinks. With WWE, you have Peacock, like you're gonna go watch it anyways, So that was a critique. Come
on. To the point of Jade losing the title, they had trouble selling out the T-Mobile Arena, and they'll be in Wembley in a couple of months. Don't you think undefeated streak ending in Wembley is probably a better booking?
They've already sold 50,000 tickets to Wembley. I don't think that would have affected anything.
I was going to say, we'll see our rematch there. I think we could actually see maybe the build-up leading to Wembley and kind of maybe creating that final good storyline for Jade. Jade really, I mean, when did she win the title? That was a long time ago.
Right when it became a thing.
60 matches ago,
yeah. She's the only champion other than Chris now.
Yeah, so there's a lot to bring out of this. Obviously, we have a lot of different opinions, so that's good. We need that. That's a first for AEW in a long time. And did she deserve to lose the title? We have a lot to move from with that. But another match I want to get to, Gags, are you sticking around or?
No, I'm probably gonna head out now. Get a little sweaty over here with this light on me. Gotta get the sweats again going on. So yeah, I'm gonna dip.
For you, brother.
Have a good rest of the show, guys. I'll see you guys.
Well, Soup, all in at Wembley is at 65,000 tickets sold currently. Just
wow.
Tidbit.
Do you know what capacity is?
80, something like that. 80 or 90?
They can fit the actual current setup right now is for 75,000, but there are 97,000 seats to be sold if they expand and reconfigure.
They did just
kind of like
more seats.
And yeah, like WrestleMania does that too, where they don't put all the tickets on sale. They'll hold the top 4 rows in the balcony and then fill those up and kind of trickle it in. I don't know that it's going to get up to 97,000, but 70,000, not damn bad.
That's a win, no matter what happens.
That's a very impressive number.
But we have 2 other talking points I want to get to and 2 other matches I want to get to, and arguably 2 main events, in my opinion. This was kind of their double main event. We had the 4 Pillars match, and we had some really great entrances. Just want to say a quick congratulations to Sammy and Ty Mello. They announced their pregnancy during their entrance and Sammy's entrance. That was a cool moment. It was kind of awkward on screen because everything was just quiet. They could have literally talked and would have heard it because usually they do their Sammy does this card thing during like a commercial when there is no audio, but it's kind of awkward with that. But it was kind of funny. Did you guys even see what was happening during that moment? Actually,
yeah, on the Tron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, the crowd cheered him.
We had more context there than we did for the Jade match.
Yeah, because you had subtitles there.
Yeah, for real.
But
did you blow right over the Adam Cole and Jericho match?
Yeah, I didn't think there was too much to say about it. I thought it was spot fest.
That was the worst part.
Wanted to skip the ladder match too.
I thought that was an okay match too. Please talk if you have. Go ahead.
Okay, Jericho, Adam Cole. I don't have many comments. The Sabu thing, he was out there for like 10 seconds. It was fine, whatever.
Yeah, what was
Mikey?
that?
Yeah.
I only bring it up because I'm really mad because that's my favorite part of any AEW show is doing the Bay and the bang. But didn't get there at all. Not even after he won. Didn't do it one time.
It was so focused on the spot fest. It was just kind of there was nothing to get behind. The storyline was good leading up to the match. It should have been a great match, but it underdelivered, in my opinion. It felt too scripted. It felt like we need to be here doing this thing at this time. Sabu did not need to be even a part of that. It was.
What was that?
It should have been a one-on-one. It should have been a one-on-one grudge match. So that's why I didn't include anything about that. But we do need to get to some good matches. The Four Pillars match, obviously we talked about the entrances. I thought it was an incredible match. It showcased every single wrestler's, move sets and what they're known for. And one thing that keeps popping up, MJF could wrestle. He could do it with anybody, and we saw it in this match. He showcased every single wrestler. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on it and your opinions on it, Tucky. This was my match of the night.
I think MJF was right. He's like, I've been in the best dog collar match, the best this match, that match. So entertaining. And like MJF said, Tino's time mentioned earlier, do you guys think the Fatal 4-Way should have been the main event? And I agree with MJF because MJF in the press conference said there's no fucking way I want to be rolling around that ring with John Moxley's blood all over it. I'm out. So he put a spin on it like, if they're going to wreck the shit out of the arena and then we have to go on, I'm out. I'm not interested. Tony Khan made a point. 3 out of the 5 double or nothings have ended in a chaotic Anarchy in the Arena type match. Like that's kind of, one of the things that makes it a double or nothing show, kind of a pillar, as he said, so interesting. Loved it.
Well, it's another thing too. I'm glad you say that is, I want to see how you guys felt after the Anarchy in the Arena match, because we'll get to it here in a sec and get your opinions on it. Actually, might as well include that in there because I think this is 2 main events. Would it have felt tiring to move on to the Four Pillars match after the Anarchy match? Because for me personally, I was out. I passed out during the Anarchy match. Out like a light. Had nothing consumed that night. It was just I couldn't get behind the match personally, but I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. On if the sequence of the match card was correct in your opinion from being at the show. I
think it was, because the Four Pillars match took us on a ride, took us on a journey, and the only thing we had to do after that was survive the car crash of the Anarchy in the Arena match, where it was more about ooh ah, and not the jumper cable like roller coaster that the Four Pillars match was. So I agree with the decision, Mikey.
I liked that it was on first. The Four Pillars match was awesome. I geeked out when they all did their mentors finishers, and he threw Cody in there too. That was cool. Mikey was on the moon for this match, so it was hard to pay attention. But the second match, though, good fucking luck if you were live. No idea what the fuck was going. Good
spotlights weren't much of a help. The singer in like blackface with the mask on was kind of weird.
I hated it. I hated the singing. It was just senses overload, and I I was out. I was done with it.
I did like how they just kept playing the song over and over again in the arena because it felt like we were at a rock show and wrestling was happening too.
It was absolute chaos.
And again, coming off of that match and then trying to like settle back down and do a gripping, compelling 4-way would have been much more of a challenge for me, I think. Because like great four-way match and then the like I can just rock out. It was much different than like I'm gonna rock out because this match is awesome, and then now I have to sit down and like kind of pay attention to that championship match.
It kind of sent us into Vegas too, right? Like I don't think that was their intention, but like you left the arena like, all right, let's fucking ride, pal.
Yep. Smashed an entire Capriati sandwich and a fry.
The other match we didn't talk about was the AEW the Lights Out match, the trios match. Had the only spotlight in the building. Look at
literally the only light.
Look at this.
For the audio listeners, Mikey was directly in the light. I'm sure the visibility wasn't that great.
It was terrible.
Should have brought the sunglasses.
I had to turn my head around.
Another thing I do want to point out really quick with the Four Pillars match before we move on completely is Jungle Boy started showing a little sign of maybe a heel turn. He had a chance to hit Darby with the belt to maybe even win it because MJF was down at the time, but he kind of refused. And we've seen this before from Jungle Boy, and he did have that little like heel turn. He got angry at Christian Cage for a little bit, and then he came back as a face. Doesn't make any sense. Choose a direction for the guy, but I want to get your thoughts. Do you think it's time for a Jungle Boy heel turn, Tucky?
Well, he came in on Dynamite with the chair, so I think they're maybe considering a heel turn, but at minimum trying to make him a little rougher around the edges, a little edgier perhaps, and I think that's a good move. When Gags comments here, do any of the other three pillars come out of that match looking like a bigger star? Because I would say they didn't. Still was a great fucking match. My comment before on Twitter was this is not a Four Pillars match. This is a Cornerstone and Three Pillars match. And I came out of it thinking the exact same thing. So when we get to Dynamite, each of them have their own programs, but it's not like, oh my God, I have to see this. You know, right. With the different three, with MJF, it's like, what the hell's next? Can't wait.
I mean, but the thing is, though, is like any of these guys, maybe 3 years down the line, if they're still in AEW, even if they're in WWE, or no matter where they are, it still could be like they could think back to this match and say, this is what these guys could do. This is what they do. And I don't think it necessarily grows them. It was more of a showcase of what these four wrestlers are about and how good they could be. But I think that winds down what I have to say about Double or Nothing. If you guys have anything to add, maybe what you have.
Well, we can unpack the Anarchy in the arena match. There's a few more comments.
Yep.
It was chaos. I enjoyed the Cesaro part. Vogus, big fan of the replaying of the song throughout. It's supposed to be Anarchy. Popped when they randomly cut to Rick Knox being busted open. So yeah, that's a layer I didn't even know. And then Tino's time, that bloody mess was crazy. Should have just came out bleeding already. For real. For real. Gags agrees. The showcase is a good word to describe it. Tino's time says, yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, actually, no. Good point. Anarchy in the arena. We had a great finish. We had Takeshita actually have a heel turn and join the BCC. I didn't expect it. Everything written on Takeshita so far has been whiteface baby. I'm excited to see what happens with Takeshita. That's something AEW hasn't had in a while is a good storyline. So maybe we could see this match between BCC and the Elite keep on going, which I think it's going to happen. It's interesting to see where Takeshita lies and why he lies with the BCC.
If he does, still was not clear on Dynamite that he was aligned with the BCC. There are still question marks. Stay tuned to find out. But the fella next to me was convinced it was CM Punk. I'm like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would he want? Like, why was he happen to be the Blackpool Combat Club? I don't get it. This is Mr. Mania Puerto Rico guy. What a guy. What a ding dong. Maybe he knows other wrestling better. Didn't sound like it. Wasn't convinced, but I did like that Takeshita came in. Does give us a wrinkle to the story, and it shows how much stock and faith they have in Takeshita because they're putting him with Don Callis. And your opinions of Don Callis, whatever, well, he makes noise. You know what I mean?
He is one. I'm going to say he's the top 3 heels in wrestling right now. I would throw Dom up there. Well, I mean, I'd throw it top 5. I would say. I mean, he gets some genuine heat. During Dynamite, we saw it. People hated him. They didn't even allow him to talk, which you don't really see that often in wrestling. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. But that kind of winds down the Double or Nothing show. Again, if you guys have anything else to talk about from your live experience, maybe a story or two, we got a little bit of time before we wind down.
Tino's Time said, did you guys see that sign that fan made about Don? I did not. I'm unfamiliar. Ian?
I did not. I probably was looking away at the time.
Couldn't tell you one thing that happened in Anarchy in the Arena. Gags was talking about stars that came out of the 4 Pillars match. I thought that if Jungle Boy was going to hit Hook with the chair when he came out on Wednesday, I thought for sure that was going to happen and turn heel, but obviously didn't happen. But you move to the next match, Anarchy in the Arena. Yuta pinned Omega.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next night, Yuta gets the pinfall again. I don't even know who they fought. They fought the Lucha Brothers and Bandino. Mm-hmm. And Yuta gets the pin again. Is Yuta getting a little rocket here? Ready to get a title match?
I think they're just making a stock rise, making them something.
I mean, the BCC does kind of need a title that is not associated with Ring of Honor, don't they? To be...
Yeah.
Yuta has been in that kind of stage of ever since he joined the BCC. There's really hasn't been anything besides being a member of the BCC. So maybe they could try to branch him off just a little bit, saying he's more of a solo guy. That would be my only guess. But I think there's still some time with him. He's really young, and we all know he's got a lot of talent. Very good at technical wrestling. So. Who knows? Maybe we could see Yuta going for the title, the main title, or a TNT title at some point.
Well, if Orange doesn't drop it to Swerve, Yuta's got to be next.
The Mid-Atlantic All I-65 title. We could see it. But, gentlemen, I think it's time to wind down. Let's get into our MVM of the week. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think we have MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. We have Tino's Time.
Let's go. Wow. Double pop.
The crowd was loving Tino. Tino, congratulations. Still the MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. But boys, great episode. Mikey, in the middle of the title for the visual listeners, visual viewers.
No shit.
But Tucky, take us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Before you go, and before I say that again, go on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, @Pot on the Mark. Make sure you're following us there. If you're watching us on YouTube, there's a thumbs up button. It kind of looks like this, but not as vascular. Click that button, hit subscribe, like, follow. You know what to do. Congrats to Tino's Time for becoming the MVM. Incredible performance. Remember, new discount code available at onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Enter code GAGSTINKS for 0% off. Full price everything. You know how we do. Got to pay the bills around here. Mikey Wilson, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Pop. Got the late call. Happy to be here.
Oh, man, coming in clutch. Quite the weekend. Hadn't seen him in just under 2 years. Hopefully, I will see him sooner than that next time. Ian, hope you have a great week. Next week, we're back, potentially doing Forbidden Door adjacent things. We're on our way to Forbidden Door towards the end of June, so we shall see how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.
Yes.